What's up YouTube, Jeff back again from DopeTechDaily.com, and today, you guys know everyone's already done one, probably seen a million of them at this point. It's the iPhone 10 unboxing, and yes, I have one. Silver model, 64 gigs, you guys know I'm an Android fan, so of course I wasn't going to drop money on the 256 because I use so many other phones. But I want to unbox it, and then I want to do a quick look at the display. There's been a lot of questions because of the issues with the Pixel 2 XL about the OLED display that is in the iPhone 10, if there's going to be any blue shifting, etc. And Apple actually made a statement, so we'll talk about that. This is the GSM model. I actually ended up buying it from AT&T, but I'm going to throw my T-Mobile SIM in there, as you guys can see right there. T-Mobile definitely my favorite carrier when it comes to LTE coverage and just overall being a solid carrier. So I'm going to throw my T-Mobile SIM into this GSM version. Take the plastic off there. Let's go ahead and just get the box open. You got your design by Apple in California right up front there. There's the phone itself. Pretty classic Apple packaging. And on one note, I will say the silver looks very nice. I'm really glad I went with the silver color instead of the space gray. Go ahead and pull the plastic off. Love that noise. Fantastic. So plastic off the phone. We'll go ahead and set that to the side. There's really not much in here as usual with Apple, so we won't have too long before we get back to it. But you've got your charger. You've got some ear pods, not AirPods, not the wireless ones, but just the wired ones that connect via Lightning, of course. You've got no headphone jack, so you've got a Lightning to 3.5 millimeter headphone adapter right there, which is nice. And then you've got your standard Lightning cable. Not much has changed in terms of what's in the packaging from back when I did my video on the iPhone 8 Plus. It's pretty much the same packaging. One thing I will say about Apple packaging is I feel like every time I take this piece out, I can never get it back in there perfectly the way it was originally. And then of course you've got some documentation in here. As always, standard Apple stickers and a little bit of a how-to guide on how to use your iPhone 10. Feel pretty confident that I can figure it out. Also, if you can't, there's plenty of coverage over on gadgethacks.com, which I'll link below. So here's the phone itself. Just talk about the build quality just for a second. You can see this thing is so reflective. It's really hard to actually catch it on film. You can see how reflective, crazy reflective the silver model is. The power button is huge on here. That's one thing a lot of people have pointed out, and it's very noticeable as soon as you take it out of the box. I was going to do a size comparison in a minute, but let me just do this comparison now. Here's the iPhone 8 Plus that I've been using. Look at the power button size difference between the two. The power button is twice as large for sure, maybe even larger on the iPhone 10. Not sure why. It could be, of course, because now you don't have that physical home button down there at the very bottom. Let's go ahead and boot it up so we can take a look at the display, get some software impressions here. Camera, of course, also different. Again, a lot of comparisons to make to the iPhone 8 Plus. You can see you've got that sort of vertical camera instead of horizontal camera setup. Still got the dual cameras on the back, and of course some other nice goodies on the iPhone 10. The iPhone logo is still there on the back. We'll go ahead and do the size comparison right now with this particular phone because I know everyone's interested in it. You can see the iPhone 10 much shorter than the huge iPhone 8 Plus. You can see that they are similar in thickness and etc. That profile. But then if you put the iPhone 10 on the front here, you can see the footprint on the iPhone 8 Plus. It is much narrower as well. The iPhone 8 Plus much taller and wider. So overall you can see there's a pretty big size difference if you've been using an iPhone 8 Plus going to this, obviously because of the bezel reduction. So that's definitely the first thing you notice right out of the gate, along with the notch itself, is that bezel reduction that we see right there. All right, guys, so that's a quick look. It's very reflective, very overall difficult to capture because of that reflection, but it's not too fingerprinty so far. It seems resistant to fingerprints, which is interesting. The build quality definitely feels nice in the hand. I definitely like the size. You still got your mute switch over here, and then over here you got your volume rocker, which is actually pretty similar in placement to the ones that are on the iPhone 8 Plus. So these aren't different or anything in size proportion. They're pretty similar compared to the power button, which we just took a look at. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get my info in here. We'll take a look at the displays because I want to compare the Blue Shift to the Blue Shift on the Pixel 2 XL, talk about any sort of other display things I notice, and give you guys a full size comparison to some of the other flagships. So I'll be right back. All right, YouTube, we're back. And I just want to talk really quickly about some of the setup process. As you can see, obviously I'm behind the camera, so Face ID, that's not an error with Face ID. I'm just behind the camera, not looking at the phone. Anyway, Face ID was incredibly easy to set up, seems to be working very well. Just a couple of comments quickly about software, and then I want to mention a few other things, give you these comparisons for the display. So if you go into the phone here and look at the About, you'll notice that out of the box, the phone's running 11.0.1. A lot of people on Twitter mentioned this as well. That's actually a problem, and you need to go ahead and update right away because this actually leaves you vulnerable to the crack Wi-Fi vulnerability. And another thing that you'll notice is if you go into the accessibility options and you look around, you'll find that the reachability option is not available. You need to update this to 11.1. So Jaime Rivera noticed that, a couple other people. We posted information over on Gadget Hacks about it. So you'll want to take the 11.1 update right away, and that's something I'm going to do as soon as I get done with this video. So overall, the app switching method, everything about the home screen stuff seems to work really well. You guys probably saw Apple's original video where you can switch between apps just by sort of doing this carousel thing. Takes a little getting used to, but it's definitely something that's not too difficult to do. Swipe up to go home. Software seems pretty intuitive so far. The notch is going to take some getting used to. The swipe down to get to Control Center at the top is definitely pretty nice, and I do like that overall. It's a very good thing to have. For whatever reason, I couldn't get the server to activate, so you just have to keep trying over and over again. And again, I want to use my T-Mobile SIM, so I went ahead and just stuck the AT&T SIM in here. For some reason, it activated on there. But again, I'm definitely going to end up putting T-Mobile in here at the end. I'm just a huge fan of their network, prefer it. The other thing I want to mention before I move on to the size comparisons and talking about the display a little bit is the sponsor of today's video. The sponsor of today's video is Tech21. They sent me a ton of cases for the iPhone 10. You guys can see some of them here. The Evo Check, the Evo Wave, which is a new one that I haven't really seen in some of the other phones they've sent so far. The Evo Wallet, Evo Tactical, which I've talked about before. All of these are rated for that 3 meter, 10-foot drop protection. You've got 3-layer drop protection on the Tactical and the Wallet. They test these in their lab, multiple drops to ensure that you're not going to have any issues if you do drop your phone. If you're even clumsy and drop your phone a whole bunch of times, it's not going to be a problem. A couple of others they sent me the clear case. This is the Bullet Shield Flex Shock in pink for the ladies out there, or guys if you like the pink. It's a wallet as well. Very nice leathered construction, and you've got a concealed card storage there, so if you want to use that, carry some credit cards when you're going out. And then also temper glass, the Impact Shield self-healing temper glass for the iPhone 10. I will definitely look into applying this and see how that works with their cases as well. So I just want to put one of these on here. So I'm actually going to open up the Evo Wave and go ahead and throw it on my iPhone, just because I haven't really checked out the Evo Wave collection in any of my other videos that they've sponsored. So let's go ahead and check that out. It's rated for the same exact drop protection that you get on the Evo Tactical series. You'll notice the main difference here is this wave pattern that they have here, and that actually translates to a little textured pattern there on the inside. It's got a little texture to it. That shock absorbing TPU. It's a one-piece case, so you should just be able to slide this in here, and it does glow in very, very easy with the iPhone. You've got to put a little force in the corners to get the other one to snap in. Very nice look on the iPhone 10, and it's going to give you that great protection. With the silver reflection, that wave pattern looks really nice, and it's not quite as reflective, which is good too, because I can actually pick it up on the video. Some Tech21 branding. You've got your buttons over here, big button for the power button, little room there to reach the mute switch, and your volume rocker there. So a huge shout out again to Tech21. I'll drop all the links below to their cases for the iPhone 10. Hope you guys will check it out and show them some love for letting me get the phone so I can do these videos for you. Okay, so now I want to get into really quick doing this display comparison to the Pixel 2 XL and show you guys really quick some more size comparisons between this and a few other phones. All right, guys, so next I want to go ahead and compare the Apple iPhone 10 display, the OLED display, to the display on the Pixel 2 XL. Because as you guys know, and you can see actually Face ID is now picking me up even behind the camera. That's pretty impressive. here's my Panda Pixel 2 XL. You guys know we've had a lot of complaints about the display, about this blue shift issue. So first of all, one thing you'll notice, I tried to set them both to the same relative brightness. It's kind of hard on the iPhone because of the fact that you have this problem where it doesn't show you the actual percentage. One thing I will mention is that they actually moved the auto brightness settings. If you go in here, you'll notice that auto brightness is not in the display and brightness part. You've actually got to go to General, Accessibility, and then you've got to go to Display Accommodations, and then you'll find the auto brightness setting there. So I went ahead and turned auto brightness off just so I could try to get these two guys to the same brightness. But obviously you can see that even around the same brightness, the Pixel appears to be a little bit brighter. Another thing that you'll notice is that the white point is different on these two phones. This one, certainly the Pixel 2 XL, seems a little bit bluer from the straight-on angle, while the iPhone X definitely seems a little bit warmer. Now, I do have True Tone turned on, so if you go in here and you turn off the True Tone, then you'll notice a little bit of a difference here. So if I turn off the True Tone, we go back, you'll see that these look a little more similar. So now they've sort of had the same sort of blue color to them. So now let's just look at the blue shift really quick. First, let's take a look at individually on the iPhone X. If you hold it right in front of your face and then turn it as an angle, I don't really see much difference until maybe like right here. Then you start seeing some of that blueness. That's going to happen with any OLED display, and Apple actually commented on this saying, yeah, that's normal. They put a support article up, and I'll drop a link below. Now notice on the Google Pixel 2 XL, if I turn the display right on here, you can see it's right in front of my face. As soon as I start turning it, notice you start seeing that blue shift right away. It goes from being a little bit warmer to pretty close to being a lot cooler very, very quickly. So that's definitely a difference here. Obviously, the Google Pixel 2 XL is running those LG OLED panels. The iPhone X does have Samsung AMOLED displays in there. So is it a huge issue? I feel like on the Pixel 2 XL, the blue shift does bother me because of the shallow angle at which it occurs. So you can see here, if I start turning them ever so slightly, you can see how much more blue the Pixel 2 XL gets as you start turning at a shallow angle versus the iPhone X takes a long time to really see that blue shift. So I definitely think in that situation, the iPhone X has a better OLED panel in there just for the fact that it doesn't have that blue shift at such a shallow angle. And I really appreciate that because it does annoy me a little bit. Not a deal breaker, but definitely something to comment on. Now, obviously, burn-in, I won't really know about that because I just got the phone, so I have no idea if it has any burn-in issues yet or not, but I'll definitely report back on that. So before I go, let me just give you guys a couple more size comparisons really quick. This is the iPhone X versus the Pixel 2 XL. Pixel 2 XL, way bigger, obviously, footprint, pretty much in every way except for the actual side profile. The thickness is very similar for the two phones. A couple other phones that are really big, and then I'll show you a smaller one that you can compare it to. Galaxy Note 8 versus the iPhone X. This is just going to be a huge, giant difference. You can see the iPhone X way smaller than the Galaxy Note 8. When it comes to their actual width, there's not a huge difference because the iPhone X and the Note 8 both have that tall aspect ratio. Now for some phones that are actually a little smaller to compare to, here's the regular Galaxy S8, the coral blue. You can see here the iPhone X much closer to the size of the actual Galaxy S8. It's a little thicker on the side profile. And if you actually put them on top of each other, the width, the iPhone X is actually a little bit wider just because of those tapered edges, of course. And then the final phone that I'll show you guys, the other phone that I have with a notch, the Essential phone. Actually, I have two more phones with a notch. I forgot about that. So this is the Essential phone. They're almost the exact same size in terms of height, and the width pretty close as well. The Essential phone a little thicker with that titanium frame, and then you can see that the overall width very similar between the Essential phone and the iPhone X. And then I do have one more phone that has a notch on it, which I forgot about, and that is the Xiaomi Mi Mix 2. So I'll definitely do a comparison between this phone and the Mi Mix 2 and the Essential phone, talk a little bit about that, about the implementation among the three phones. Anyway, that's my first look, display comparison, size comparison of the new iPhone X. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope I was able to point some things out that'll be useful, give you some information in this video. If you guys have any questions, please drop a comment below. I'll be happy to answer. Find me at dopetechdaily.com. Google+, Instagram, and Twitter. The link's in the description. You can also find me writing over at gadgethacks.com now. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Also hit the notification icon if you want to see future videos like this. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching.